This
Uh,
conference will
I think
now be recorded.
thanks for hitting the record button. I think what we'll do with maybe probably after every item, we'll go back to Guy and see if he's
I'll
okay.
try and come in back and just use the screen to look at.
Guy, do a test again, please.
See what happens.
Yeah, you're not. It's better, but we're still not getting complete sentences. Okay, so we'll get going if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, with the Vice Chairman, and we'll ask John to start the meeting. Guy will check in with you. Okay, Mr. Vice Chairman, would you be so kind?
Certainly. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, January 3rd at 7:01.
That'd be February 3rd.
I'm sorry, February 3rd. I'm looking at the wrong, never mind. All right, so we don't need to do introductions right now, right? You got them all here, or do you want to go through the names? I forget.
I think what we can do, John, is I can do it quickly
Because
if you
I
want,
don't
just
have
by
a list.
saying I can just go through the romper room Hollywood Square screens and just say this person's here, this person's here, this person's here. If that's okay with everybody, that would expedite.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, John. So commissioners, I see. Bear with me. Let me get to the right. Roger Hoyt of Ashburnham. I see Laura Schifrin of Townsend, Guy Corbacero and Rick Ward of Ashburnham, Mr. John Telepsiak, Town of Phillipston. I see Russ Williston, Mr. Sean Copeland, Kyle Nardowitz, Stacy Donahue, Alan Pease, and Barbara Yoakum. The rest of the people in the TV screen are staff.
Thank you. Are there any announcements we need to make before we start? Hearing none, or seeing none. I'd like to move into the approval of the January 6th meeting minutes. And entertain a motion to accept them.
This is Barbara Yoakum. May I make a few comments about the minutes first before we accept
Definitely.
them?
Definitely.
Great. I'm wondering, the meeting was just held virtually, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Could we put that in the minutes that it was a virtual meeting? We do that with planning board. If it's virtual only, we do make a note of it in the minutes.
Absolutely.
Fine.
Okay. And the other
Be
question,
my end going out.
Guy, you're garbled like crazy. Sorry.
I know. Set him up.
okay. The second question I had was in section 5.1, the section reads, the office remains closed to the public. Staff may be seen by appointment, period. Virtually no local officials or other parties have requested in-office appointments since March 2020. I'm just wondering, should that read staff may be seen by appointment virtually, period? No local officers or other officials or other parties have requested in-office appointments?
No.
It seems an odd, okay, so how is it supposed to go, Glenn?
Staff may be seen by appointment.
Okay, so
person.
you are doing in-person appointments.
So sure, absolutely. If a staff person feels safe, let's say Barbara, you'd like to come to the office, and you email Karen, and you say, hey, can we do this face to face? And if Karen's okay with that, then that's between you two, and you can meet at the office. So we could edit that, Barbara, to your point, and say staff may be seen by appointment in the office.
Yeah, I think what tripped me up was virtually, because virtually is being used so much now for, Zoom, go to meeting, not in person. So I just
Right.
think that needs to be clarified.
Yeah, we can say, in the office. That's fine.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So any other changes to the minutes? We certainly can add those. And so I would entertain a motion to accept the amended minutes.
This is Laura Schiffer, and I'll make a motion to accept the amended minutes of January 6th.
I'll second that.
Motion and seconded. Any other discussion on these minutes? Seeing none. Do a roll call vote. Again, I don't have a list.
I can go through it, Mr. Vice Chairman, if you wish. And just call it the names.
Please do. Please do.
Okay, very good. Again, I don't want to miss anybody. Bear with me. Okay, Roger Hoyt, how do you vote, sir?
Yes.
Okay, Laura Schifrin,
Yes.
John Filipsiak,
Yes.
Russ Williston,
Yes.
Sean Copeland.
I wasn't present, so I will abstain.
Yes, sir. Carl Nardowitz. I will hang for 2 seconds to give people time to unmute. If you don't, I'll go to the next person, but you can always chime in. Stacy Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you. Alan Pease.
Abstain.
Barbara Yoakum.
Abstain. I was not present. Thank you.
Barbara, you abstain. Guy, we can't make you out. Sorry. Robert Shaw. Okay. Phil Duffy.
Abstain.
Thank you, sir. Veronica Kells. Guy, you're not coming in. Can you mute, please? Veronica Kell.
Glenn, my vote would be yes, but I'm the alternate for Townsend. Does that matter?
I apologize. Laura's in the room. That's my mistake, Veronica. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Jasmine. Jasmine, from what community are you?
Lancaster?
Thank you. Very good. Are you on the planning board? I just want to catch up. I just want to make sure I do things right.
I'm the new director of community development and planning there.
Fantastic. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank
Okay,
you so
great.
much. So glad to be here.
Great. We're going to make it interesting. So I'm going to reiterate what Jason said. If you're not speaking, if you could just mute your mics. Thank you again. And Mr. Chairman, we have a majority of votes in favor to accept the minutes, sir.
Thank you. So next on the agenda would be I don't have that on my screen either. Where are we?
Cash schedule.
All right, we'll move on to the cash schedule. Now, who decided to do that today?
Linda's going to do it.
Okay,
Okay, so our opening balances from December 2021 was $468,386.56. We had cash receipts and interest earned on all accounts of $148,221.66. Which gave us cash on hand of $616,608.22. We had cash disbursements, which include payroll and accounts payable, of $149,816.15, to give us a total of $466,792.07, which is on deposit. And that's it.
Linda, I wanted to thank you for that other explanatory document that you also sent. Unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me.
So So yes, someone had requested that we submit the disbursements. So
Uh-huh.
what we do is we just kind of give you a printout of all the cash disbursements for the enterprise, our regular checking account, our debit account, and then anything that MEC may have incurred in expenses as well. And that was submitted along with the cash schedule. I emailed everybody that.
Yes, and I want to make note that I appreciate that, and I think it's I think the members will appreciate it as well because it's very explanatory.
Yeah. Yep, I
Mr.
agree.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the financials as presented, subject to audit.
Thank you.
Bob Schwartz, seconded.
Been motioned and seconded. Are there any other questions on this cash schedule?
I just want to let you know, John, that I am here. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm on my telephone now.
Yeah, you sound pretty good. You're welcome to take over if you'd like.
Okay, if you'd like. Okay,
Go
very
ahead.
good. I'll try with the telephone. It's a little smaller words and things, but so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the cash schedule? If not, I'll call a roll. And start off with Alan Pease.
Aye.
Barbara Yocum.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is Jasmine Franciani, Farnan Ansi?
Actually.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Well butchered. Hi, and you are a member? I don't have
I
my
don't
list
know.
here.
She's
I
not a
think
member,
my
Mr. Chairman.
membership straightened out, but I am with the town of Lancaster.
Right.
Okay, so you're not a voting member at the moment. That's what I
Not at
thought.
the moment, no.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you.
John Telepiak.
Aye.
Kyle Nartowitz. Kyle Nartowitz. I think I heard an A. Laura
He's
Schifrin.
muted.
Yes.
Phil Duffy.
Yes.
Rick Ward. Or actually not. I'm sorry, Rick. Robert
Okay.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Roger Hoyt.
Yes.
Russ Williston.
Yes.
Sean Copeland.
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
And Veronica Cal. And just for note, any other votes, I'll be calling that same role at that position. And the cash schedule is accepted unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda, we move to guest announcement and questions. I see we had one semi-guest and then we have George here. George Cahill, do you have anything at this point, Nick?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I have one announcement. On February 1st, MART has launched a new schedule for Winchendon Link.
Cool.
The bus route, yes, exactly on what you recommended. The bus route has been extended to Haywood Hospital and Mount Wachusett College, with one express loop in the morning via Route 140 directly from Winchendon Town Hall to Haywood Hospital and downtown Gardner. This is starting February 1st this week, and the schedule start in the morning at 6:30 and end at 4:25 in the evening. This is what I have. Thank you.
Great. Oh, thank you. That's fantastic, George. I know a lot of people in Winchendon will be happy about that change. And because they've been concerned about switching downtown, now they can get directly to the hospital and directly to the Mount. So I can say thank you, George, and job well done.
Thank you.
Okay.
I took your recommendation very seriously.
Oh, you did. And so quickly. I can't
Yeah.
say enough. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Okay, next item on the agenda is administrative matters. So Glenn, this is your portion of the program. So take it away.
Yes, I will. Could you set this over there, please? Thank you. So, Jason, could you pull up the document? Thank you. Could you put something on it, please? Like a magazine or a pillow? Thanks. All right, thank you. I'm sorry for the delay, Mr. Chairman. I'm on 2 devices, so I'm going to go
After my
quickly.
delay.
Yeah, I hear you, man. We're having issues tonight. So for everyone, especially for folks who might be newer appointees to the commission, the first page is just a copy and paste of the state statute that basically says that in bold there that every February we have to provide an estimate for the amount of money required to pay the costs and expenses. In other words, a revenue estimate and expense estimate. So the tradition of the MRPC is we provide a very draft budget. It's really the first time you'll see the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, which is ultimately approved in June of every year. This year it'll be at the June 9th meeting. Secondly, by statute, we have to fix and determine the proportion of costs and expenses to be paid by the member communities. In other words, those are your municipal assessments. So that'll be actually a request to approve those at the end of this 8-page document. That takes up the last 2 pages. If you go to page 2, Jason, please, we'll scoot right to the takeaways and we'll hit the highlights. The highlighted table A is that the revenue expenses for fiscal 23, they may decline or they may not. And that's just a statement you can make about every future fiscal year. You don't know until you really are 6 months into a fiscal year, how you're looking for the second half. But all you can do from February to June is estimate. Pardon me. The above table basically presents a very conservative view of the 23 budget. Starts on July 1st. The decline in expenses is basically fairly large. And why is that? Well, it's a combination of things, but it's mostly, we had basically 6 department head level positions. We're down to 3. So we had 3 people who are on the payroll who are not now. Anybody who's muted, can you please? I think Guy, actually, you're trying to get on. Can you mute that? Technology. I think we don't have you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. And then Karen Chapman was promoted into a position, planning development director, to follow John Hume. Karen was the only person that was put into any of the 3 job slots. The other 2 job slots were not filled. If we could go to the next paragraph, please, Jason. So the projected deficit, we can eliminate that by marketing our services to our communities. I'll get more to that later. And to pursuing the state and federal grants. This is the stuff we do every year. However, I think we need to make a much more concerted effort to go after some private foundation grants and private sector money for Montezut Enterprise Center, which is our private nonprofit affiliate. And we can do some job training, job-related issues, and affordable housing issues, services with that. Right now, while we have a projected deficit, and it could be bigger and it could be smaller right now. It just depends on how you look at the numbers. But the reality is that there are 3 outstanding, I say in here, grants. There's actually a contract pending with the city of Fitchburg for around $25,000. There are 2 other grants that are pending, round numbers, each of those for EPA plus a sub-consultancy to Growing Places is another 60 grand. So roughly we could be looking at another 80,000 to come in, which would erase the deficit above. But that above deficit is, could be higher if we don't aggressively pursue a federal grant known as the economic funds from the Economic Adjustment Assistance. So numbers will be in flux. That's my main point here. From now through about June 5th, until we really nail down all the numbers and we get some grant awards and we get some word back on outstanding awards as well. Table B, projection of the decrease total salary costs. So the total salaries in FY22 was $1,203,000. The FY23 projection is $1,145,000, which is about a $58,000 dip or a 5% change. This is actually the $1,145,205 for FY23 projected includes a 5% increase in salary for all staff. So where we saw 3 people leave the budget, even if we give up to 5% for employee salaries in FY23, we're still well under the salaries to the tune of whatever it is, 55 grand, 58 grand right there. Let's see, could you go down to the takeaway, please, Jason? The total salary figure would decline in large part due to the changes in personnel defined above. Next page, please, sir. So the top of page 3, we have another table, projection of increased decreases in direct salaries, direct expenses, indirect salaries, and leave time. I've never presented the budget in this way for the upcoming. And what you can see there is, and I want to explain a couple of things. In the table, God bless you, Bob. In the table, what we have there, the most notable change is a 76% dip in total direct expenses. And if you go down a little bit, Jason, I'll go to the takeaways. We've projected a significant decrease in the total direct expenses above. The EPA Brownfield Environmental Site Assessment Grant, or the ESA grant, has come to its end. Technically, the grant is still open till 9/30, but we've gone through all the funds. The consultants did all the work. It's a 3-year term. We did it basically in 2 years or 2 years and a quarter. So the vast majority, 90% of a $300,000 Brownfield ESA grant was used to pay an environmental engineering firm. So if you put $270,000 in your direct expenses, cut that in half over 2 years, and you don't have a new grant award yet, we do have an app in. Thank you, Karen Chapman. It's pending. Then we would plug in about $135,000 into the future budget, and what would happen there is if you increase your direct expenses, you'll see later that the overhead rate would go down, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. But that's what's going on there. That's why that percentage is so high. The next table, please, Jason. This is just a summary of overhead rates from FY10 through FY23. I don't know if I've ever presented a table on overhead rates to show a trend. And by the June meeting, I'm going to go back to the first audit that we have in our files, which would be the early 80s or the late 70s. But I just thought it was important to give people an understanding of the trend. And the takeaway, please, Jason, if you could scroll down to that, sir. The median average overhead rate from fiscal 10 to fiscal 23 is 1.28 or 128%. Right now, operating in FY22, we have an overhead rate of 125. I did do the math about a year ago, for 30 years worth of overhead rates. When I did that table, our mean and our median, ironically, was about 125%. So we're operating, within historical averages. I mentioned there what I just said, an increase in the direct expenses such as the brownfields would lower the overhead rate. Table E below on the top of the 4th page quantifies the percentage of revenue earned from all local government. Could you go down again? Could you go back up, Jason? I need that paragraph, sorry. There we go, perfect, thank you very much. The next table, percentage of revenue earned from all governments by type of government, in other words, federal, state, and local. We have to be cautious on bullet 1 that we've had a significant increase in federal revenue, specifically from the EDA, Economic Development Administration, COVID-19 planning funds. So we received a grant in the summer of 20, and that'll expire June 30, 2022. It's imperative that we go out and pursue other funding, and we can obtain it. There are more grants out there than we have capacity to prepare proposals for. Karen and I have talked, and we really want to get the EDA grant to replace this grant. We're going to go after $500,000 for the next 2 fiscal years for 23 and 24. But we have the capability to do this. We have applied for in the past competitive grants, and we've received those. And I have no doubt that the staff we have the capability to keep pursuing and obtaining these fundings. In the state contracts, even though there's a projected right now, today at this minute at 7:26 p.m., even though it's a projection for a decline, that basically means that in the budget scenario that we have in one spreadsheet, we did not put all of the state contracts in the projection that we had in FY22. Now, I can do that and play with figures and fudge it, but we don't operate that way. I'd rather show you what we don't have under contract and what we were going to pursue, and I'd rather show you a worst case scenario in a budget, low on the revenue, high in expenses. And then we need to do a full court press with the marketing for the local contracts. So basically what happened about 18 months ago when COVID hit this area, this region, about March of between March and the summer, March and the fall, all of a sudden the phone rang off the hook from communities asking us to update open space and recreation plans, complete a all hazard mitigation plan, do affordable housing planning and other tasks. Transportation department picked up a local contract with Athol to do a pavement management plan. So again, we don't put that in the projection, and that's why you see 44% decline. But we're going to plug that hole because we need to market and go back to the communities and say, well, we just did an all hazard mitigation plan for Lancaster, but the rest of you, most of you need your all hazard mitigation plans because those expired in 2021. I believe Karen can correct me if I'm wrong. Going down to the table, this is just the math, the way it works out. And those are the numbers that I summarized above in the narrative. So if you like numbers, this is a handout that's available online. You can download it. Go down to the takeaway, please, Jason. I think I already talked about these. We need to fill the gaps in the state and local contracts. Jason, could you go to the next page, please? So I like to do a SWOT every year. I like to look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But just before that, objectives. We need to continue to deliver high-quality services to all of our clients. Now, in the past year, we had essentially 9 staff transitions. We had 4 people depart, the 3 you heard about, plus the economic development manager left in September. We have struggled to replace that position. We had a lead, and 2 weeks ago, that deal fell through with the candidate. So we're still not operating at full capacity. We only have 1 position that's, if I believe, that's unfilled, and that's the economic development manager's position. But we need to always continue to deliver high quality. So we want to do that, and I'm just putting it out there that we're adjusting things, and we're going to do that again this year. But it's going to get better. Some communities have said, "Geez, that project was late." Well, yeah, some things have been tardy. Between the 9 staff transitions and then just trying to operate under COVID, it's really been okay to difficult to very difficult on the staff. So they are doing the best that they can under extremely difficult circumstances. We need to market like crazy, continue with the diversification of our revenue streams, recognize the hard work that the employees are doing, and it's been very difficult under the COVID-19 pandemic by providing 5% raises. So those are my objectives for the year, and I'll probably develop more by June 9th. Strengths. We have experience delivering services to communities via planning development and earning revenue from locally appropriated funds. We just had a conversation today, and I won't spill the beans if Karen wants to talk about it or steal her thunder, but we did speak to a local official in Townsend. Hopefully we can help the town of Townsend in a planning area, and we can probably help them with DLTA, but it's a big project, so we probably need some of their ARPA money to pay us also, because it's not a small project at all. We own a house with radiators, and you're going to hear them knock in the back, and I do apologize for that. Weaknesses, if you could put that up, please, Jason. Dependence upon the same sources of revenue to pay for ever increasing expenses, especially in the areas of salaries and insurances. That's always the weakness in the budget. So you have to be creative, you have to diversify, you have to seek other revenue sources. You can't rest on your laurels, you can't sit on your hands. You meaning us, the team, the staff. Opportunities. We need to build on the recent efforts by transportation as an example to pursue, obtain local funds. I mentioned that pavement management contract. For Athol, transportation also obtained a planning assistance grant from Energy and Environmental Affairs. And planning and development obtained 3 other PAGs and so on and so forth. So, we all need to think of ourselves as grant writers. I already mentioned EDA, and then we'll be going after a future industrial lands for long-term economic recovery, or a filter grant. That's what I touched on above. I mentioned applying for private foundations to fund MAC threats. If we could talk about that, Jason, toward the bottom. So we have to be careful, and this is something that we haven't had to deal with pre-pandemic. I'm just going to say that. So we all know what's going on in Washington, and we all know that the feds are providing more money, and they're printing cash, they're creating programs, they're filing legislation that creates more programs and more money. But we have to be careful to not depend on one-time revenue to fund a budget or fund an agency. So that's why I mentioned above, at least twice, we have to pursue a variety of sources. We have to go after the EDA, Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant, for the filter project, and so on. And we need to think, we need to plan ahead. So the inevitable decrease in federal appropriations after the COVID-19 pandemic, sure, there may be a piece of legislation in Washington inside the Beltway now, and it may be for 4 years. But what happens after 4 years? So we have to be cautious. We have to look to the future, because, management and fiscal, we really need to think about the long-term fiscal health of the organization. And I don't make a 5% salary increase recommendation strongly, lightly, because I know that we can obtain those revenues and we can sustain the costs. But we have to be cautious. We just can't ignore those. And that's extremely important. Jason, could you go to the summary, please? Top of page 6. So just some bullet points, and this is a lot about the raises. We did see nationally the inflation rate, or the CPI, if you want to call it that, Consumer Price Index, rose 7%, while real wages rose at a rate of about 5%. For the same period in New England, this is basically data from December 20 to December 21. For the same period in New England, inflation rose 5.9%. The employees did not receive a raise in FY21. That would have been 2.5%. Based on the presentation of a conservative budget presented to the commissioners by me, as we were entering the COVID-19 pandemic in June 2020, when the FY21 MRPC budget was adopted. So, and that was me, so you can all throw darts at me later, but we did do a raise in FY22 when we realized that revenue was coming in. We were very strong, we were very healthy, we were very solvent. Towns were calling us like crazy. Typically we might earn $50,000 to $100,000 a year in local contracts. I think we earned about 230 this particular year in FY22. That's just incredible. Next bullet, I think it's bullet 5. The MRPC's 12 peer agencies throughout the Commonwealth. That means the other regional planning agencies and 2 councils of government. So they were looking. Linda provided me with data. The fiscal directors were sharing with each other. Hey, how much are you looking at? Hey, how much are you looking at? And they were all looking at about a 3 to 6% bump for the salary increases for their respective staff for the upcoming fiscal year. Franklin Regional Council of Governments approved 6% a few nights ago. I am, as of this point in time, recommending commissioners approve a 23 annual budget. Not tonight. We'll be doing that in June with a 5%. Before June 9th, we have a lot of work to do, though. We need to prove to the commissioners and ourselves that we can fund to sustain the 5% salary increase. So I want to reiterate, this is an estimate tonight. We're fulfilling a statutory obligation. We're going to work like crazy the next 4.5 months, come to you with a solid budget, and see where we'll land. I'm also considering a 2.5% raise and a 2.5% one-time bonus to all employees to control the recurring costs. Admin and fiscal will research this as an option. We did that with one employee several years ago, and I want to involve that employee to see what the impact was on that party. And other planning agencies are considering this an option also. So we need to research this a little bit more. And that's all I have to say on the summary. Jason, would you go down, please? I think the next issue is the municipal assessments. I just want to verify it. Yes. So my presentation is done on the revenue estimate. If there are any questions, I'm happy to field them tonight or in the future, please. So who's ever got a working Microphone, Mr. Chairman or Mr. Vice Chairman, I turn it back to you. Thank you.
I'm working. Anybody have any questions of Glenn on the, his budget summary?
Glenn, this is Philadelphia. I have a quick question. You mentioned that there are 3 effective department head positions that were not refilled after people left.
I said 3 and I meant 2.
Okay, 2. Which 2 were those?
That would be due to the loss of the, I didn't sign the MAR contract, so I had to lay off George Kahale as an employee. We did not replace the transit director position. And Linda Parmenter was our administrative and human resources director, and she retired after 40 or 41 years last June 29th, I believe.
Okay, is it the intent to refill one or both of those positions?
No, not at all. No, the short answer is no. On the admin side, on the transit side, it's easy. No, on the administrative human resource director position, we've spread those responsibilities out to Linda Quinlivan and Holly Ford, our fiscal director and our administrative manager, respectively, and myself. And I believe at a prior commission meeting, I believe it was last summer, we bumped up Linda Quinlivan and Holly's salaries an amount. I don't remember what it was, because they were taking on more responsibilities. I did not ask for a bump for taking on more responsibilities. That's not an issue. But we gave them kind of a dividend for what we were saving.
Okay. Thank you for the answer.
Okay, any other questions of Glenn in regards to his presentation? If not, we'll move on to, actually, this is also under the budget aspect. You have a report and a resolution that you want to pull forward, Glenn?
Yeah, and thank you. So, Jason, can you go back to the document you were on that had the municipal assessments? So if you go up, there we go, to the top of page 7, I believe it's there, sir. I believe it is. There we go. There we go. So the report is basically that per that state statute on page 1 of this handout, we had some words in bold, and that was about presenting a revenue estimate. Then we had a sentence in italics, and you see I copy and pasted it down here. So annually, what we have to do is fix and determine the proportion of such costs and expenses to be paid by the constituent community. So that's just the legal language for basically saying we create, Linda, the fiscal director, does a spreadsheet, and she creates the numbers for the bills that you all get to receive, and your treasurers get to pay us. And this is basically setting the municipal assessment dollar figures for each community. So that's the report pretty much. And then the resolution, be it resolved that the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission hereby approves of the municipal assessments to be issued to all communities within the Montezuma region. Typically what happens is at the end of December, early January, January, let's just say, fiscal department will do this math, come up with numbers. Towns will start calling us late in December for this assessment, this number. We send them the estimate in January. I know Linda did that. If she wants to chime in on this later, she's more than welcome to. And then we send them an invoice. But I would like to ask Linda, when does the invoice actually go out, Linda? Is it July? Is it June 1st, July 1st? Because it's paid in the future.
I'm sorry. I believe we send them out in May, Glenn.
Send them out in May for payments as early as July 1 because it's new money. Thank you very much for helping us all out with that. And if you want to just scroll down, Jason, if you're so kind to show them as much of the table as you can, that's fine, because the towns maybe want to see their number if they're interested. Bob might want to see Gardner's as so basically Leominster pays the most and then Fitchburg, and it's based on population and another couple of factors. And that's it. If somebody wants
any
to
questions of Glenn on this? Glenn, I don't have that resolution on the handout that I'm reading off of. So if you could read the resolution, or did you already? I'm sorry, I was looking for
That's okay. It's short. Let me just reread it quickly. You know I talk too fast.
Right.
Be it resolved
Then
that
I'll
the
ask for a
Montezuma
motion.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission hereby approves of the municipal assessments to be issued to all communities within the Montezuma region. I want to make a note that I added verbally assessments plural. It says assessment singular.
Okay, very good. Any questions, or can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
This is Barbara. I have a question. I'm surprised to see that Leominster has a higher assessment than Fitchburg. Isn't Fitchburg bigger than Leominster?
Leominster has historically been the larger of the two communities by population for the last 4 decennial censuses, not including 2020. I haven't seen the numbers. And I'm gonna pitch this over to Linda Quinlivan in just a second, because there are the variables that go in. There was only 1 year out of the last 40 that Fitchburg went ahead in population. Linda, you want to take the rest of the formula or explanation?
Yeah, so this is based on the 2020 census. We do the census every decade. And it looks like the Fitchburg population is 41,946 and Leominster is 43,782. So those were the census numbers that came in.
Oh, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Bob Schwartz, move to accept the assessment to the communities in the Montezuma region.
Very good. And anybody want to second it?
Alan Pease, I'll second it.
Okay, very good. Motion is second. Any more questions? If not, I'll call a roll.
This is
Yes.
Barbara. I just have a comment. I have to say, I think it's a great deal. You're a
Yeah.
good value, Glenn.
Well, may I accept that compliment on behalf of the entire team, because they deserve to know that. And thank you, Barbara. That's so kind of you to say. But I mean, I work with the best team in the state.
Well, for a town that doesn't have a planner, you're a godsend. We're very happy you're there, and you do great work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. I'll call the roll. Alan Pease.
Aye.
Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Guy Coverser, the chair votes aye. John Telepiak.
Aye.
Kyle Narthowitz. Laura Schifrin.
Aye.
Phil Duffy.
Aye.
Robert Schwartz.
Aye.
Roger Hoyt.
Aye.
Russ Wilson.
Aye.
Sean Copeland.
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
And Veronica Kell. If I missed anybody, please speak up. Otherwise, the resolution is passed unanimously. Okay, very good, Glenn. I guess back to you now. On the handout that I have, you have another resolution in regards to $2,000.
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes. Thank you. Jason, could you show me? Oh, you're reading my mind, man. Thank you. So in the past, we had a habit years ago of not adjusting line items in the budget until the very last monthly meeting. And we've really tried to get out of that. We're doing much better at doing that. And this is a line item, the advertising line item. Hang on. The advertising line item has gone over a little bit because we had basically some staff depart, i.e. we decided to advertise for a ARPA director, an economic development manager that left, a regional planner, a principal planner, and an economic development intern. So we did a lot of advertising. We started out with a $1,500 budget in that line item. We incurred costs and spent $1,981.50. So we overexpended by $676.50. Second paragraph, the equipment furniture purchase line item was budgeted at 18 grand at the beginning of 22. This line item was higher in the past years because we'll buy equipment. Basically, it boils down to we need computers and we need copiers, and then you need some cables and other stuff here and there, small stuff. But we needed to buy a printer this fiscal year, so we put 18,000 in because the last printer copier we bought, I'm going to say about 8 years ago or more, was about 17 grand. Well, lo and behold, who would have thought that copier, scanner, printer, fax devices all included, the prices went down. So we wrote a check for about 9,600 and change. We have a balance of about 8,400, just under that. So I'm requesting in the third paragraph that we transfer 2,000 from the line item from the equipment furniture purchase line item into the advertising line item for basically two things. One, it offsets the small deficit we have in there because of so much advertising, because all of a sudden we had to advertise for staff. And then also it leaves a placeholder, few $100. It's going to leave us about $1,400 to the good in advertising if you approve of this tonight. Because if I have to re-advertise for another position, or I don't think we're going to re-advertise again for the economic development manager's position, it's too late in the game. But I'd like to do some advertising in some periodicals just to get the word out there, and that's the gist of it, really. Like, getting to the local officials through maybe a trade magazine, or the Chamber of Commerce, or just basic newspaper advertising, whatever it's going to be. So that gives us some wiggle room for us to do that for the balance of this fiscal year. That's the background. Those are the numbers. That's the ask. And Jason, if you could scroll down to the resolution, please. Be it resolved, the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission hereby approves of the transfer of 2,000 from the equipment furniture purchase line item into the advertising line item. So that's the whole story, and that's the background, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Any questions of Glenn in regards to this? If not, I'll entertain a motion to move the resolution.
This is Phil Duffy, so moved.
Thank you, Phil.
Bob Copeland, second.
Thank you. Okay, we have a first and a second. Any other questions? If not, I'll call a roll. Excuse my hand. There we go. Okay, very good. Alan Pease.
Aye.
Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Guy Corbisser, chair votes aye. John Telepiak.
Aye.
Carl Nartolwitz.
Aye.
Laura Schifrin.
Aye.
Phil Duffy.
Aye.
Robert Schwartz.
Aye.
Roger Hoyt.
Aye.
Russ Williston.
Aye.
Sean Copeland.
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
Veronica Kell. I don't know if I missed that, Veronica.
Mr. Chair, Veronica is the
Veronica
alternate.
she doesn't vote.
Oh, okay, she's the alternate, I'm sorry. Okay, very good. It's passed unanimously. Okay, next item is, we have 5.2, draft budget. Glenn has already gone over that. Proposed promotion of Ryan Doherty for economic development intern to regional planner. Okay, Glenn, would you like to report on this?
Yes, I'll do so as quickly as I can. The battery in my laptop's going to die, but I called in him on the cell phone. So Ryan Doherty, we hired him as an intern approximately 3 months ago. It says November 15th there in the beginning. So under the EDA COVID planning grant, we had two positions, or have two positions, economic development manager and economic development intern. We were conservative in our hiring. We knew that we had to replace an intern because that position had been vacant for a few months. we came across Ryan, he applied, we hired him as an intern, but we knew that he was capable of greater things. That's the bottom line. I pulled back and I wasn't really comfortable with hiring him as a regional planner at that point in time because I wanted the numbers to be firmed up a little bit more. That's the gist of all of these words. We've reviewed him. Karen and I did an evaluation with him. We had a meeting with him. I'm going to just quote part of this. He's exhibited capabilities that exceed the requirements of the intern's position. We just recommend that he be promoted to a regional planner. Tying it to the budget presentation I did for 23, he's in there and the estimate as a full-time regional planner, just an FYI. Jason, could you scroll down, please? That's kind of what I said in the third paragraph. Be it resolved as the resolution, be it resolved that the MRPC hereby approves of the promotion of Mr. Ryan Doherty to the position of regional planner commencing February 7, 2022 at an annual salary of $47,358.68. Linda, I think February 7 is the beginning of another payroll period, which is next week. Do I have the right date?
I believe so, Glenn.
That's next Monday. Okay, very good. Mr. Chairman, back to you, and I'll phone in for the rest of this.
Okay, very good. Glenn read the resolution. Do I have a motion to accept the resolution, or do I have any questions in regards to Brian?
I just have one question. If we have a Ryan Doherty on
Okay,
staff and a Brian Doherty on staff, I mean, is this going to be confusing?
Very.
It only
I'm already confused.
That's all.
we need nicknames.
You need nicknames for both of them. Okay. Okay, well, if no other questions, who would like to move the resolution?
I'll move the resolution, Alan Pease, as presented.
Okay, very good. Do I have a second?
Bob Schwartz, second.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, we have a motion and a second. If no other questions, I will call the roll. Alan Pease.
Aye.
Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Guy Corbisiero, the chair votes aye. John Telepiak.
Aye.
Carl Notowitz.
Aye.
Laura Schifrin.
Aye.
Phil Duffy.
Aye.
Robert Schwartz.
Aye.
Roger Hoyt.
Aye.
Russ Williston.
Aye.
Sean Copeland.
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
And the resolution is passed unanimously. Thank you. Okay, Glenn, I see you're still here. So one other item, 5.4, other administrative matters related to office management under the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So yeah, the laptop died. I'm on the phone. I'm with you. Basically, we're still closed. It's really a similar report to the last month. I do want to mention, and I meant to write this down, that Linda reminded me that we've been in the office at the present office at the Doyle Conservation Center, owned by the Trustees of Reservations, for almost 5 years. We moved in on June 26, 2017, and just do the math. So I signed a lease with the approval of the commissioners for 5 years with a 5-year renewal clause. We started at 30 grand, and I think it goes up a small percentage each year. What I have to do in the lease, and I'll come back and we'll talk about this in more detail in March, but I just want to give you a heads up that I'm definitely in favor of sending notice to the property owner, trustees of reservations, that we would like to renew for the other 5 years. And the rate increase for the next 5 years is the same rate that we've had for the last 5 years. So that's the gist. It's under office, and I just thought I'd mention it. I don't think anybody wants to go back to where we were, and I think we're pretty happy. The price is when we signed the lease, the price was a third or a fourth of the market rate. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Talk about controlling costs and estimating your budget. I think we're okay. So I just thought I'd let you know that it's a great home, and I think we all want to stay. I mean, I haven't polled the staff, but I think we're pretty good where we are. So that's about it, Mr. Chairman. I'm done with the reporting.
Okay,
Good
very
question
good.
for
Any
you, Glenn.
questions of Glenn before I move on to staff presentations? Now as you know, we have a different format. We don't list every project except for once every 3 months. And otherwise, I will just go through the different departments and ask if they have anything to give. So 6.1 is Geographic Information Systems. And that is Jason and Kayla Kress's department. Do you have anything for us, Jason?
No, I have no updates at this time.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I have no updates at this time.
Okay, very good. Do we have any questions from the members for Jason? Oh, not hearing any. I'll move on to planning and development, and that is Karen Chapman. Karen, do you have any updates or anything you need to say?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple items. So on February 17th, excuse me, from 11 a.m. to noon, the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development is going to give a presentation on MBTA communities. I sent out a save the date, I think on Monday. Hopefully they'll answer questions that you have, and they'll at least go over all of the new regulations and the guidelines. I just received the Zoom link today, so I'll be sending that out tomorrow to everyone. And hopefully you'll attend that. The second thing is we mailed out the DLTA call for proposals. It was emailed out on Friday and it was mailed out on Monday. Hopefully you've received it, and the round one will be due March 1st.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Karen. Do we have any questions of Karen, either relating to what she just said or maybe something in her department from your town? Oh, not hearing any. I'll move on to 6.3, transit and transportation, and that is Brad Harris's, and I think he's got a resolution for us, if I'm not mistaken. Brad, if you'd like to take it away.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, we have a resolution regarding a TIP amendment that's out for public review and comment. The MPO voted on January 19th to release it for a 21-day public review and comment period. We're calling this amendment number 2 to the FFY 2022 transit element of the 2022-2026 TIP. The amendment reflects the addition of one project to the 22 transit element, as well as cost changes to 2 other projects. The comment period runs from Tuesday, January 25th, and closes at the end of business on Monday, February 14th. These changes actually came out of the comment that Mark had sent us for TIP amendment number 1. So because of the scope of the changes, this was thought to be better to put this out as a second amendment to the TIP. So the resolution is, be it resolved, the MRPC has reviewed the draft amendment of the FFY 2022 transit element. One second here. I got my copy of it. I lost my place. Oh well.
If you don't have it, I have it here.
Jason, could you scroll it up just a little? Okay, thank you. Draft amendment number 2 to the 2022 element of the 2022 to 2026 TIP, and based upon this review and comments received to date, hereby authorizes its chairman to endorse amendment number 2 at MPO meeting scheduled for February 16th, 2022. And I will add that we have not received any comments to date on this TIP amendment.
Okay, and if I will just add to that, if I'm not mistaken, the draft amendment 2 is in the handouts that is on the website, if you haven't already seen them, for this meeting. Okay, very good. Any questions of Brad? Not hearing any questions, I'll entertain a motion to move the resolution as stated.
I'll move the resolution as presented. Alan Pease.
Thank you, Alan. Do I have a second?
Sean Copeland, second.
Thank you, Sean. I have a motion and a second. Any questions before I call the roll? I'm not hearing any. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Barbara Yocum,
Aye.
Guy Corbett, the chair votes aye. John Telepiak,
Aye.
Kyle Nartozowitz, Kyle? Okay, very good. Laura Schifrin,
Yes.
Linda Quinlivan. No, I'm sorry. Never mind, Linda. Bill Duffy.
Yes.
Robert Schwartz,
Yes.
Roger Hoyt.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Russ Williston,
Yes.
Sean Copeland,
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
And the resolution is passed unanimously.
Thank you.
So that goes to our reports and brings us down to, let me get it here, new business. Does anybody have any questions, new business they'd like to bring up? Not hearing any. Next item is on the agenda is adjournment. I will call this meeting adjourned if there's no objection. Not hearing any objection. This meeting is adjourned at 8:02 p.m. Thank you very much.